If you feel like a total zombie every single time your alarm goes off, you need to stop fighting your biology and start timing it. The secret to waking up at 4:30 a.m. isn't about raw willpower or drinking more coffee. It is actually about the 90-minute Japanese sleep architecture. Most people wake up tired because they break a deep sleep cycle, but we are going to use the 90-minute rule to fix that. My goal is to show you how to gain 3 extra hours of peak productivity every day without the afternoon crash. We are diving into a 7-day challenge to reset your internal clock using specific constraints that guarantee high energy. To make this work, we have 4 non-negotiable rules. Rule 1. You must calculate your bedtime in 90-minute blocks to ensure you wake up at the end of a light sleep phase. Rule 2. No blue light or screens 60 minutes before bed to allow natural melatonin production. Rule 3. You have to use Inemuri, which are strategic micronaps, if you feel a dip in energy during the first 3 days. Rule 4. Total consistency. The 4:30 a.m. wake-up time is non-negotiable, even on weekends during this initial reset. Success means waking up before the alarm with a clear head and maintaining focus until 2:00 p.m. Failure is hitting snooze once or feeling brain fog that requires caffeine to function. If you master this, you gain 21 hours of quiet, focused time every single week. If you fail, you stay trapped in the exhaustion cycle. Let's see if we can beat the clock. Phase 1. The 90-minute pivot day. 1 begins with the math. Most of us think that more sleep is always better, but that is actually a myth. It is all about the quality of the cycles. Your brain moves through different stages of sleep in roughly 90-minute blocks. If you wake up in the middle of a deep sleep stage, you will feel like you have been hit by a truck, even if you slept for 9 hours. That is called sleep inertia. To wake up at 4:30 a.m. feeling refreshed, you have to count backward in 1.5-hour increments to find your perfect sleep window. For most people, this means aiming for either 6 hours or 7.5 hours of total sleep. If you try to compromise and get 7 hours, you are waking up right in the middle of a deep cycle, and you will feel sleep drunk for the rest of the morning. On that first morning, I set my alarm for 4:30 a.m. and calculated my bedtime for exactly 10:30 p.m. That gave me precisely 4 full cycles. When the alarm went off, the initial shock was there, but the mental fog was surprisingly thin. This brings us to the first 10 minutes rule. To make this stick, you cannot stay in bed. You have to jump straight into a physical task to spike your cortisol naturally. For me, that meant immediate movement, splashing cold water on my face and doing a quick set of air squats. You need to signal to your body that the day has officially started. The first morning is actually the easiest part of the whole challenge because you have that initial surge of adrenaline and novelty. You are excited to try something new, and your brain is curious about the results. I found myself sitting at my desk by 4:45 a.m. with a glass of water, watching the world start to wake up. The silence at that hour is incredible. There are no emails, no notifications, and no one asking for your time. It is pure, unfiltered productivity. I managed to knock out 3 hours of deep work before the sun even started to peek over the horizon. However, you have to be careful not to let that early success trick you into thinking the rest of the week will be a breeze. By 11:00 a.m. on day 1, I started to feel a slight dip, but I pushed through it by sticking to the plan. The real test isn't the first morning. It is the moment the adrenaline wears off and your old habits start screaming for a nap. You have to stay focused on the goal and remember why you are doing this. You are reclaiming your time and your energy. But as I quickly found out, the real challenge starts when the newness wears off and your body begins to fight back against the new schedule. That is when the mental game truly begins. Phase 2. The midweek wall and Inemuri. By day 3 and 4, the initial excitement vanished completely. This is the midweek wall, where accumulated fatigue starts to weigh on your eyelids and your old habits try to pull you back to bed. This is the danger zone where most people quit because their brain is screaming for a familiar 9 o'clock wake-up call. To fight this, I implemented the Japanese concept of Inemuri. In Japan, this translates to sleeping while present. It isn't a long, heavy nap that leaves you groggy. It is a strategic 10 to 20-minute recharge. I found that sitting upright in a chair for 15 minutes at 1 o'clock p.m. was the perfect reset. It clears the adenosine from your system without letting you slip into a deep sleep stage. I also had to adjust my evening wind down to protect the 4:30 a.m. goal. I started using an Ofuro-style ritual, a hot soak before bed. Science shows that a hot bath helps drop your core body temperature afterward, which signals to your brain that it is time for deep, restorative rest. Navigating the social friction was the hardest part. I had to say no to late-night scrolling and evening hangouts because my productivity was now the priority. Choosing the quiet of the early morning over the noise of the late night is a trade-off you have to be willing to make. Once you clear that day 5 hurdle, your biology finally shifts in your favor. You stop fighting the clock and start moving with it. By day 7, the results were undeniable. I actually woke up at 4:28 a.m. Naturally, 2 minutes before my alarm even had a chance to go off. I felt completely alert and ready to move before the sun was even up. When I looked at my data, the deep work output from that 4:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. block was staggering. I was getting more done in those 3 silent hours than I usually did in an entire 8-hour workday. There were no interruptions and no mental fatigue. My honest reaction? The first 2 days were definitely rough, but the mental clarity I felt by day 7 is a total game changer for anyone's career. The proof is in the math. By using the 90-minute calculation, I avoided that heavy, tired feeling that usually ruins my mornings. I wasn't just awake, I was functional and sharp. This experiment proved that you don't need more sleep. You just need better timing to unlock your full potential. The key takeaway is that sleep quality and timing matter way more than the total hours you spend in bed. Optimization is about working with your rhythm, not against it, so try the 90-minute math tonight. If you want more practical strategies for peak performance, hit subscribe now and let me know your wake-up goal in the comments. Consistency is the only way to win, so start your own 7-day challenge tomorrow morning.